Okay, today on Age Group Podium Junkies, I have the privilege to interview Amy Bevilacqua. Amy, welcome to the show.
Hi, Paul.
Let's get started. Give me your background, Amy. Where you're from, where you live, all the how old you are, if you want to reveal that to us, all the good stuff.
Well, I am 52. 52. I live in Connecticut in the U.S. and been doing Hyrox since spring of 2023. So just about 3 years. My first one was New York in 2023 in June. So I'm still at it.
Yes. You're married, right?
I am married. I have 5 kids.
My oldest
is living in New Hampshire. He is a engineer.
What kind of engineer?
Job. He was a double major in computer and electrical engineer. And he's working at a company up there in New Hampshire that he does plasma cutting, and I still don't really understand what it is. But yeah, so he does that all day. He's happy as a clam. He likes to mountain bike and ski. And then, so he's my oldest, and then it goes down to Natalie, who is 11, my youngest.
Oh.
So they're all doing their different things.
Yeah, sure. So, what is your why? Why Hyrox? How did you get involved in Hyrox?
This is, I was thinking about this one, and it definitely changes. I think my why in the beginning was just had been doing at that time. It'd been a competitive road cyclist. That was what I was into at that time, and it just kind of felt like I had exhausted all of the races that I really wanted to do. I enjoyed it, but it was also becoming they were a lot. Every race you'd go to, these big stage races we had to drive, I'd have to take 2 bikes. I'd have to take my husband and the whole family. And I still enjoyed it, but I just was antsy. I was getting very involved in my kids' sports, probably too involved. And I think that's because I was just sort of kind of in a place, I was like in limbo. And then I was just reading an article in Men's Health about Hyrox and Hyrox and a couple other things. And I was like, you know what? That's it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what I need right now. I can do this. And I looked it up and I researched all the stations and the running. And at that point I had been kind of nursing like an injury to my upper glute hamstring attachment for years and years, which stopped my running for a long time. So I was like, I don't know if I can run fast enough to do the 5 miles in an indoor, venue. So I had to kind of test that out. But I think I was on the mend by that point. So I just knew I was like, this is good, because I was always a stronger runner. I was a gymnast growing up, so I had some of that background. And so I just went to my gym. I loaded up the sleds. I tried out everything, except I couldn't try out the ski erg because we didn't have one. But yeah.
Yeah, so I think you bring up the point where tell us your background. I know we talked a little bit before we got started here, but you can walk us through like high school. What were you into in high school as far as sports or athletics or fitness, right? And then walk us through your journey so far that got you to Hyrox.
Yeah, well, I'll try to walk quickly.
Yeah,
it was a long journey, but we'll run through this. So growing up, I was a gymnast, loved gymnastics. I was very, very strong. I didn't have a lot of fast twitch, so I wasn't, amazing at gymnastics, but I loved it. I continued that at freshman, sophomore year in high school. But then I concurrently started running track, which I also loved. And then I quit gymnastics to just do cross country and track. So I did cross country and track through high school and at a Division III level, kind of as a walk-on. I really wasn't that good. My daughter is actually now faster than I was ever in high school, which is very demoralizing for me.
Right.
But I'm also very excited for her. she's like, Mommy, you know how, I was like, you know, I had never run a 3K as fast as she can run now at age 11. So be it. But, so from there, after I graduated, college, you know, again, I wasn't an amazing athlete, so I had to find myself a quote real job. So, I had a desk job. I still did some road races, but was just never really very competitive. So from there, I quit my desk job and I started working for Club Med teaching flying trapeze. So I did trapeze circus arts for a few years.
Yeah, so actual like trapeze.
Like they're flying trapeze.
Yeah.
And I ended up actually in a circus in Japan performing for the better part of a year. So again, that kind of brought me back to the strength end of things. Some upper body strength was required for that. I still was running, just recreationally. Never really stopped running. Like I just, wherever I was able to bring my running shoes and just do that. So then, after Japan, I was about 26, 27. So my main focus now was I wanted to have a family.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I did that. I got married and I started having kids. And that's when I picked up triathlon. My husband was also interested in it. So it was something we did together for a long time. After my fourth baby, I actually got my pro license as a triathlete. So again, I was never a top tier triathlete, but I sort of, you know, was an age group champion.
Yeah.
And I won the New York City triathlon a couple times. So I that was my big claim to fame. It helped that is a down current swim point to point for 1 mile. These are Olympic distance triathlons, mind you, not Ironman. I didn't have the time to train for anything like that with all the kids. So, you know, I was a stay-at-home mom. So that's what I did. I raised my family and I got pretty darn good at triathlon. And then, you know, again, I kind of felt that urge to try something else. So from there, I got into both kind of at the same time, a little bit of strict road cycling, because I was very good on the bike. I also had by that time I had developed this injury that just plagued me for years and years and years. In like, I couldn't run faster than like a 7-minute mile without pain, like this clicking, constant pain every time I would take a step with my left leg. So I just stopped running. So I rode my bike. And then from there, I discovered that I could also run uphill just fine. So I did some Spartan racing and obstacle course racing.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I was kind of doing when I discovered Hyrox.
Yeah. And then your first Hyrox was New York in 23, 22?
Yes, at 2023. I remember Lauren Weeks was there. It was actually not in New York City proper. It was in New Jersey.
Yeah.
At a very small venue. It was a 5-lap course, totally different than the New York City race of today.
Yeah.
But, and I was so excited for that race. Like I had hired, for a day, I got this trainer at my gym. We were kind of friendly, but I paid her for the hour to like help me do a simulation like a month before. And I was all excited because I did it in like, I don't know, 66 or so. Of course, simulations we all know are not, real, but I made it as real as I possibly could.
Yeah.
She timed all my splits. I set up everything and I was fired up. And then the week before, I remember I never do speed work outside, ever. But I had something going on. It's May or June. There were graduations. There was so I was like, okay, I'm just going to do some fartleks on the road. And I stepped in on something and I totally twisted my knee and my knee was messed up. I was in tears. I was at the therapist. I was like, I am so ready for this race, but I couldn't walk. I was in so much pain. So, and I didn't know if I could even do it. Yeah. So I went down, I stayed the night in the hotel. I was on the elliptical. I was trying to warm up. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do this thing, even if I have to walk it. So New York was not, everyone's like, oh, you ran a 1:15 for your first race. But in my mind, I knew like I was running, my first kilometer was a 5-minute kilometer. Like I started out in the back until my leg, and I could only burpee broad jump using one leg basically. So I was jumping off one leg. I still couldn't. And the lunges, everything was just, but I was hooked. I mean, I was like, okay, if I can do that.
Yeah. So that first race, I assume you probably even injured, got number one in age group.
Yes, I did. I think it was 7th overall, first in my age group. So.
And you raced pro? Did you race pro right off the bat?
Yeah, I did. Again, I tried out all the pro weights and I made sure that I could handle them. And I knew that I had the endurance background to handle.
Yeah, to handle it. The
race in its entirety. Like I'd done a lot of hard things.
Yeah. So tell me this, what was your path then? Because obviously one race didn't get you into Elite 15. What was your path from there? Were you like, holy cow, or I can actually be an elite athlete in a sport?
Yeah, no, it's funny. I don't know if you know Lauren Rentala and Mark Vano.
Oh, yeah, from Chicago.
Well, after the New York race, I limped my way over to Starbucks, and he saw me in the line, and he said, I think you would race with my wife. And I was like, I didn't know who anybody was at this point. Yeah. He was super nice, and then after meeting him was when I actually set up my Instagram account, because I didn't even have an Instagram account. Yeah. Like he was, I think, my first follower or something.
It's funny. Instagram, I didn't start my Instagram till after Hyrox, and that's all I set it up for was like fitness and Hyrox. Yeah. But anyway.
So he was just, I don't know, like he didn't really say like, oh, you could be this, but just the fact that he sort of acknowledged that I was there, even though in my mind, like I was not, that race didn't reflect my abilities, like in my own mind, because of my leg. And it was just so stupid that I injured myself like that week. But so anyway, that was just kind of a moment. And then I followed him and I started, getting a little more involved. And I was like, what, I want to set the age group world record in the 45 to 49. Because at that point I was like 49.75. I was turning 50 in a few months. So I was like, it'd be cool to really set that age group world record. And I don't remember what it was exactly. I think it was under 110, somewhere under 110.
Yeah.
So I was like, the only place I could go to do that at that point was Madrid. Or maybe not the only place, but I would have had to go to Europe.
In time for your birthday, right?
In time for my birthday, which is October 2nd, because every other race was after that. So I went to Madrid and I was like, I'm going to go break the age group world record. I felt so good in New York. I could do this. And then I got my ass handed to me basically, because I was like, okay, now I can run. So I ran hard, but then I realized how hard the stations are when you've also run hard, because in New York, I wasn't running as hard as I could because my knee wouldn't let me. So I felt wonderful on all the stations. I was like, this is a piece of cake. So I think the sled pull in Madrid took me, 7 minutes. The wall balls were just as bad. So I was just over. I think I was 110 and change. So I did not do what I wanted to do there. So then again, I got very angry and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to Chicago. I will, I didn't have another chance because that was my birthday weekend, I think. So Chicago, I actually podiumed, not in my age group. I won my age group, but that was where I set the 50 to 54 world record, or, the first time I said it. I think I ran like a 66. And that's where kind of I got some eyes on me, like, oh, wow, this was this old lady coming in, I think it was second overall to Lauren Griffith in that race. And, Greg from Rock's Life reached out. We did a podcast, I think. So, that was when I kind of got onto the elite scene a little bit. I mean, not quite, but then I received a roll down for Stockholm. which was December. And I received it very last minute. And I was like, yep, gonna go.
So when you say roll down for Stockholm, that was a major.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That was that was the second major. I think the first major, as we know now of all time, was Chicago, which I was there, but I was not in the major. I remember watching it. So I got the invite for Stockholm. And again, that was like amazing. It was around Thanksgiving that I got it. And then I remember like just after I accepted it, and this hits another question, but my daughter was like, "Mommy, my throat hurts." I was like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, whatever. I hope I hadn't shared like anything." And then I got COVID. So I had COVID. That was about, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks, 10 days before the date of the race. I came down with it, and I was like, "Oh, should I go? Should I not go? Should I go?" I recovered from it. Thought I was feeling okay, so I went. And just a horrible race. I mean, I felt horrible that race, but I was very happy to be there. I think I did need to go. It just, again, the race was very difficult for me.
Right.
Yeah, it just did not feel good. The race was at 8 a.m. In Stockholm after coming from New York. So
that would have been like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning your time. Yeah.
I mean, I woke up, I stayed at a Best Western. I must have had 10 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
More and more thinking maybe it'll help. And I remember just being in the venue before the race and thinking usually the adrenaline like kicks in and I was just dead.
It was nothing, right?
It was dead the whole way. So I fought through it as best I could. Again, that's like the question, like, why am I here? What am I doing? I think I had in my mind, like, I was hoping that I would feel okay, but I was also thinking to myself, this could have gone worse. I could have dropped out. I could have passed. I could have felt dizzy. Like, I got through the race. I think I was 14th, but it was definitely not what I wanted.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But so you raced Stockholm.
So continuing off Stockholm, which I did not have a good showing, I was like, okay, that might be it for my elite career, So I get back home, Christmas, whatever. Next one was was it DC? Yeah, it was a DC, and I was 29th in the standings, and I got the roll down. Again, a late roll down, but so I went there, and I ended up coming in just one spot out of World Championship qualification. So that was a good race for me. I had a terrible, I came into wall balls in like a step ahead of, I think again, it might've been Lauren Griffith.
Yeah.
But I remember at that point I hadn't really dialed in my wall balls yet. Not that I don't think you can ever say my wall balls are just perfect, because something can always happen. But I remember getting the wall ball, and my son was there, and I received the wall ball in my hand. I squatted down and I fell on my butt. And the first one, just getting ready for it, I was like, okay, this is not gonna be good. Again, that was like a 5-minute and change wall ball, which for the elites is definitely not good.
Yeah.
So I ended up, I think, in 7th or 8th that race. I don't remember. But, then again, Lauren Rantala is like, well, are you going to go to she was there. She's like, well, are you going to last chance qualifier? And I was like, I don't know. She's like, you got to go. I was like, really?
Where was the last chance qualifier that year?
That year was in Anaheim.
Okay.
California.
Oh, yeah. All right. Now I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, it was May. That was really late. It was only like 3 weeks before Nice, I think 3 to 4 weeks. So yes, I went out there, and that race, definitely one of my more memorable races. Like, it wasn't perfect. Like Morgan Schultz and I was following Morgan, and we took a complete detour before the sled pull, like ran completely the wrong way, came back. We had both lost like numerous spots, which for me in sled pull, like not good.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay. And I said to her, I was like, let's not give up. And she kind of looked at me, and I was like, well, I don't know, whatever. but yeah, so that's where I ended up qualifying for Worlds. I came in, Camilla Massa won that race. And then I think I was second to her. Vivian was in a different heat. I may be getting this wrong, but I took second. And then I think Maria Fetchik was third.
Mhm.
And I had a good, strong wall ball. I was super happy about that. So that's how I ended up in France.
So Nice, you ran Elite 15.
Yeah.
And and then last year, Chicago, you ran Elite 15 as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. So 2.
Yep. Well, and then this year so far, I know we talked a little bit last year at the end of when you and James ran mixed doubles. I remember talking to you, and you were saying how the field is just getting so much more competitive, and you were like, I don't know if it's going to be really hard to maintain that Elite 15 status.
Yeah, no, every time for one thing, I never expected to get there in the first place.
Yeah.
Like I was just, not that I don't think I deserved to be there. I did deserve to be there, at that time, and
Yeah.
I just, and when I was there, I never thought, I'm going to come in last, maybe in Stockholm. Just I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. But, I always, as long as my training was good and I knew my wall balls were becoming more reliable, because that's one place where I could really lose it. I just felt like I did belong there. And I felt very empowered by the support I got, and even the other athletes. I feel like they took me seriously, and they didn't think, oh, there's the 50-year-old, I'll be able to beat her, or, I never felt like they were also like, oh my God, I'm letting a 50-year-old beat me. Like I never got that vibe, which was nice. But again, I'm not so naive to think that like these women are coming in from professional running backgrounds. Women are figuring this stuff out. There is a definite difference in physiology between a 30-year-old and a 50-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that I've always known that my days are numbered here. Like it's, it's not, it can't go, I can't stay there forever. I look at numbers that they're putting up in 5Ks, 10Ks, and I know that I'm nowhere near there. And running is, I consider, one of my strengths. I'm not a CrossFitter. Like I'm not relying on the strength of my station. So, even when I was there, I knew that I was running against women who are running 5Ks a minute and a half faster than me, but yet our paces and Hyrox were about the same. So I can't explain that, At 40 years old, I could run a 17:30 5K. Mm-hmm. But my whole Hyrox career, I could not run a 5K faster than 19 minutes.
Yeah.
Like that had been after that injury. But even at the top of my game, my 5K was still about 19 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I'm racing with people whose 5Ks were much faster. So I think, it's definitely not a direct correlation. And I'm not sure how I was able to do that or how they weren't able to, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
Because people say, how fast can you run a 5K? I'm like 19 minutes on a good day.
Yeah, but you're very strong. And so you're probably making it up in the strength.
I'm not. I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's a threshold kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like maybe my top end speed isn't as good. I don't know, but I remember Greg from Rocks Live asking me my 5K times, and I'm like, it's not good.
Yeah, yeah,
it's not that good.
Yeah,
and my row, my erg, my 2K on a row at that time was not good. Compared to a lot of what these girls can put up, but yet, I can manage to put out maybe a higher percentage during the race for some reason.
Yes, yes.
I can't explain it, but yeah, no. Now, I think that the depth of the field is just people. They're closing the gap to the top time, so there's much more. 58s, 59s, 60s. 61. And I'd like to be able to hit a 61 again, 62. I think maybe, maybe I can. I don't know. I don't know if it's, again, I feel like this past year, all of a sudden I've gotten a lot older, but I know my training through some, what's going on in my life, like my training isn't quite like it was. My things aren't just as dialed in as they were. So you have to attribute a year of aging plus all that other stuff. So you don't know what exactly it is.
Yes.
And sometimes I feel like people are like, oh, she's finally too old. But concurrently, there's a lot of other stuff going on. So,
so that, I guess, is a good segue into that part to ask you. I know you've had some struggles with one of your daughter. So run us through that part of your life and when you first started to notice the problems with your daughter, and let's walk through that if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, I do. I've been pretty open about it on my social media because I just feel like I needed. It's a community, and the people I've met at these races are important to me, and they're supportive. And I felt like I didn't want to be ashamed of what was going on. I don't want my daughter to feel shame. And nobody. It's hard, and nobody knows exactly what to do or what's really going on. We've been through multiple things, but basically, after Chicago, June, I went to Chicago. It was just have the best memories. Like I was on cloud nine. Everything was just perfect. I raced singles. I didn't feel great actually in the beginning of the race, but then I felt real strong at the end of the race. I was proud of where I finished. Then I raced with James in doubles. We won the race. I got the golden kettlebell. Chicago was great. I was riding the bike all around. My kids came out. Then I came home, and my daughter was doing some track meets, and we were having fun with that. And then I just noticed that like she wasn't eating, she just wasn't eating. And I was like, because she had never mentioned, she'd always eaten everything. And so pretty quickly it deteriorated because she was tiny to begin with. So by mid-July, we took her to the doctor, and she had been down like almost 10 pounds on a 70-pound frame is a good amount. And so she wasn't eating or drinking water. Like she wouldn't drink water either. So we were in the hospital the first round for like 10, 11 days. They, feeding tube, the whole thing. At that point, the diagnosis was just anorexia. And I was like, but it doesn't really fit. Like she never expressed any desire to lose weight or get thinner. She was just afraid of food. She thought food was going to kill her. Like just tremendously delusional. All food, all water. She was afraid of the IV, like screamed all night, the whole night that they had the IV in her. They're like, this is so severe. I'm like, this came on like that, like over, for me, it was overnight. It's probably a few weeks,
Yeah.
So we were in and out of, then they discharged us. They tried to put her in a residential facility, but she wouldn't eat there either. And she stayed there for like 5 days. And then she was right back in the hospital. Then we were in the hospital again in Connecticut for 3 weeks. And they tell me, well, when she goes to this other place, they're going to do lots of therapy. So it's going to be much better. So we had her in Princeton, New Jersey. I had to move down there. And they got her, they got her weight up, but there wasn't any improvement in her psychological status. She was still like terrified of food. They put her on an antipsychotic med that did help her to eat for a while, but it made her feel awful. And it ended up failing, fortunately, because I didn't want to keep her on it anyway. So from mid-July until basically early October, was hospitalization. So I was with her in the hospital, and then I had moved down to New Jersey where she was in, it was a eating disorder facility. So I was living in a hotel nearby. But anyway, my whole life was just flipped on its head. And I was like, for a while, I still thought that maybe I could go the Hamburg Major, because at that time I was qualified. I was on the list, and I actually I remember I was in New Jersey when the invites went out. I was like, oh man, that's not happening, because I'm still in Jersey and I haven't been training. So it was really hard when I realized, probably, after a few weeks of this, I was like, I am not going to be able to make it there. And I couldn't train. I was just able to run. When she was in the hospital, like, all I could do, my mom would come for about an hour and a half and stay there, and I'd go run. And I just ran and ran and ran every day. And fortunately, my body held up. I was surprised, because I hadn't done that kind of mileage. Because I had the hour and a half or an hour and 20 minutes, so I was going to use it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, I was in, these hospitals, they're not in the best location. So I'm running around Hartford, Connecticut, which is, it's not horrible, but it's not great. And there wasn't enough time to drive to a gym. You had to get to the parking garage. So by the time I would get there, so I just ended up, and maybe it wasn't a bad thing. I'd go between like 9 to 11 miles pretty much daily. And then I ended up running a half marathon when she was in New Jersey. I was like, well, I'm going to run a half marathon, which didn't go that quick either. Like, I ended up, I don't remember, I had to stop to go to the bathroom. It was a couple minutes in the middle. But so there was some work going on, but it definitely, all the strength stuff was out of the picture. It was more just like, mentally, I was just running. And then in New Jersey, I also had a bike. And there was this wonderful bike path that went for miles. So it was just basically to clear my head. I did bring a couple kettlebell, a wall ball. Occasionally I'd do some Hyrox stuff. But in my mind, I was like, I don't know. So it's really hard. And then I got back. She came out of the hospital, and things went south. I think when she was there, she was eating, because if she didn't eat, she would get a feeding tube. And she was deathly afraid of the feeding tube as well. So then she came home, and she was really, really not eating. She lost a bunch of weight, and we were terrified. We were like, we're going to have to send her back to the hospital. My husband and I were basically force feeding the child, which was awful. And I was like, you know what? I need Hyrox. I was like, I can't, my mom's like, you need a therapist. And I was like, I don't want a therapist.
Yeah, I got Hyrox.
It's like, I can't, I got enough therapists going on, and when therapy wasn't working. And I was like, therapy has never worked for me. Nothing against therapists, but I was like, I just need to sign up for a Hyrox. So that's when I signed up for Phoenix, thinking, this is what I need to do.
Yeah.
So I did my best to get ready for that with the 3 months that I had. And, I was pleased with my result there. I was like, I think I went in there thinking, if I get a 106, I can qualify for the DC regional and run another elite race, which I did. So I made my goal and met my goal. In between Phoenix and DC, I got sick with the flu. So I was really bummed, because I was like, I got to come back and work on my sled pull. But it was what it was. And DC wasn't my best race, because I think I still wasn't as strong as I wanted to be, but it was an emotional race. Because I was like, this may really be the last time, because at that time I saw those times in Europe and all these girls. I'm like, I can't, I'm not saying I'm going to give up, but I knew like this could be it. At some point, like this might be it. And I think it's good to know, rather than, because I think you appreciate more
Yes.
The whole experience. Kind of like a lot of times you don't know when something's going to be the last time.
Yeah, you never know, right?
Yeah, no, and I'm not saying it was the last time. Like I'll keep trying, but again, like the priorities shift.
Yeah.
Like my why right now is different from my why when I got into Hyrox, when it was like, this is amazing. This is for me.
Yes.
I'm going to like rule the world.
Yeah.
I want to show what a 50-year-old can do. I can inspire others. And I was just like riding this high. Like right now, my why is like more of like, it gets me back to baseline.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Like it's keeping me from going back on an antidepressant.
Yes.
It's just, I hate to say it that way, but that's what it is right now.
Yeah. Like, sure.
And for what it's worth, I think it's a good thing. I have goals for the future. Like I want to set, and I told my daughter this, she was asking, like, I was like, I want to set the age group world record in every age group.
In every age group. Yeah. Yeah.
In every age group.
Yeah.
Like
you can lie about your birthday and like go back and try to do like the 30 to 39 or 30 to 34, the 35 to 39.
No, I don't think I can get those. I'm still pissed about the 45 to 49 in Madrid that I screwed up. But I was like, that could be a good goal. And, do some world championships along the way. I'm not going this year. I posted about it. It's just not the right timing.
Yeah, no.
I'm needed here right now.
Yeah. Priority
but I
shift,
will
right?
be. Yeah, priority shift. So, I think and continuing to get up and do the workouts every day. My whole life, I'm like, even if I didn't have anything to train for, a race, an event, in my mind, it's always like, okay, something's going to pop up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to want to be able to do it.
Yeah, be prepared.
So I always want to have that baseline fitness that enables me to be ready. And I also just like the way it makes me feel to be fit and strong and healthy in that way. So it's a combination of things. But yeah, when I turn 55, I want to go break the new age group world record.
Yes.
When I turn 60. So I intend, as long as Hyrox is around, and I hope it stays around for a long time, I want to be doing it. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to do it over and over again, every race, like this year, I can't even get to, I tried to sign up for Boston because my son was like, let's do Boston. We couldn't get into New York. Apparently Boston sold out.
Yeah. And Tampa yesterday sold out. Like the pre-sale just was over like within 20 minutes. Yeah.
So, now I'm like, okay, now I'm going to have to fly somewhere. Toronto's sold out. That's the only other one I could drive to. So now I'm like, has Nashville gone on sale yet?
No, not yet. No, wait. No, Nashville hasn't. No.
So I'm like, but that involves a plane trip. So it's harder now to get into. You have to plan these things. Even sooner, which it's a good thing, but it's just different.
Yeah.
When I signed up for New York and Chicago, I could do it a month before or 2 months before.
Yes.
And just go. So I'd like to say I'm going to do it, consistently, but I don't know. I'll train consistently. I don't know if I'll race consistently. We'll see.
Yes. How is your daughter today?
Things, she's healthy, she's strong, she's eating, but she will not put food to her mouth on her own. So I have to do it for her.
Yes.
I have to feed her like an infant. Snacks, meals. So it's, I'm sure there are people with bigger problems, but to think like my daughter can't even feed herself, it's very difficult to deal with mentally. So her current diagnosis, they're thinking that she's got, it kind of trails back, but it's manifesting as extreme obsessive compulsive disorder, which they think is due to something, it's brain inflammation, which is, I don't know if you've heard of it, but there's a condition called PANS and PANDAS, which is an inflammation of the basal ganglia, and they found untreated Lyme and Bartonella in her system. So all of this can cause severe food restrictions, hallucinations, delusions, just a whole host of problems. So the current idea is that this is what this is. It's OCD. It's not anorexia nervosa, but regardless, it's presenting as a horrible eating disorder.
Yes,
so you have to treat the eating disorder by feeding her, making sure she gets the calories, and the OCD through ERP, which is exposure and response prevention. But my ERP OCD therapist basically fired us. She's like, she's too severe. I'm not getting through to her. You're wasting your time. So I'm like, okay, so we just got fired by a therapist who we were spending $169 per hour twice a week. So right now, so it's very discouraging because it's a lot on me to try to figure it out, to try to do her therapy. So I'm constantly researching it and trying to learn what I can, because this therapy is very home-based. It's based on constant sort of exposures to those fears, but her fears are so strong that these doctors are like, we can't help her. Mm-hmm. She needs more medication. So I'm like, okay, so we're working, she's on an SSRI, we're doing that, but currently we're just kind of stuck. But she's in school. She's getting straight A's. She's running amazing time. She's on the track team. She's running relays. She's enjoying that. So it's kind of this dichotomy between like life looks pretty good, but yet the kid can't feed herself. Yeah. So it's very stressful, and I think I just feel like how am I going to figure this? If nobody else can figure this out, how am I supposed to figure this out? Yes. I was an English major in school. I'm a jock. This is not my forte, but now it has to be. And life is different than I thought it would look at 50 with a middle schooler. As I was like, oh, I can do all this stuff. I could go, I went back to work for a while. I had to quit that. Now I'm just sort of constantly thinking about this. And it's hard to shift from that to, workout mode. Yeah. So that's when it's but I do, and some days I have great workouts and I can do it. And then other days I just don't. So I think that's, it all plays out. Mm-hmm.
The workouts give you a chance to escape a little bit.
Yeah, no matter how demoralized I'm feeling, I always feel just a little bit better afterwards. Yeah. And, again, it's the mornings are hard. Her school starts early. We got to wake up. I got to get all this medication, or I got to get all the, supplements, and then breakfast. And that, she has to weigh every little, it's a nightmare. And so by the time I get to drop her off and to get to the gym, I just it's this wave of just, I don't know what it is. It's just this wave of emotion pretty much every day. Yes. Whether it's exhaustion, frustration, I don't know. But I'm definitely not thinking about I'm going to hit that threshold. How am I going to, first you have to dig out of this hole, and then, and then I'm okay, what am I going to do? So I used to just go to bed thinking about what my workout was going to be the next morning, mm-hmm. and wake up thinking, okay, I'm going to eat this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get ready. And of course it was never perfect, but now it's just, okay, let's just rise to, baseline and do what I can do. And for the most part, I get it done. Yep. But, along the same lines, I don't, even if I get a really good workout, I don't get that high that I used to get. Yeah. It's hard to say. If I used to, if I had a workout plan and I hit those times and I felt really good, I'd be on cloud 9. Yeah. Again, so that doesn't really happen. But again, I also don't get as upset if I don't hit a workout. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of I'm kind of in a place where the priorities have shifted. And it would be more important and more exciting for me to figure out a way to get the kid to put a bite of apple in her mouth, than for me to hit a Hyrox workout. Yeah. And it is still important. and then that translates to maybe not doing as hard a workout or
Right,
not, you know,
right.
not, maybe I want to do skier twice and rowing twice a week and I only hit one once a week or something. So yeah, I mean, everything takes a little bit of a hit.
Yes, yes. Well, I know, you know, the Hyrox community is totally pulling for you. And, you know, I think that's one of the things that's great about the community is the people all do, I think, care about each other. And there's something different about the Hyrox community for sure.
I definitely believe that. And I love going to races. It's so much fun. Like I just, you know, seeing these people and I love it. It's great. You know, I would go, I'd love to just, if I could teleport myself to Stockholm,
Yeah.
I would go. Like, even if I'm not in the, you know, pinnacle of fitness, I want to be there, but it's just too much.
Yeah.
Like I can't do that. But, and you know, when I bring the kids, and I remember like at Phoenix, Vivian Tafudo was, I think she was in the stand somewhere. My kids were there, my 16-year-old and Natalie, and she like went out of her way to say hi to them. And Natalie still like wants Vivian to win everything.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like, Jesus. So it was like so important and so meaningful for her that, like, you know, Vivian said hi to her. It was so sweet.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. So how many podiums have you made, or how many races have you raced?
You know, I had to, I'm sure you looked this up, but I did look it up. How many races? I don't know. I've done 7 women's pro, 3 doubles, 3 majors, 1 regional, and 2 world champs.
Wow.
So 10, 13, 16. Not that many, I guess.
Yeah.
Compared.
Yeah. And then how many podiums?
Okay. Well, I podiumed at every women's pro I entered.
Yes.
Doubles, all with James. We podiumed.
Yeah.
The other doubles was with my son when he just turned 16. That was in New York last year. We did not podium.
Oh.
But he loved it. Even though he quit, he told me he was done halfway through the race. He pulled over to the side, said he had a cramp, and he was done. And I said, no, this race was too expensive.
Yeah, you're going to keep going.
You have to keep going. Let's just make it to the burpees. I said, I'll do most of the burpees. And then I told him in the middle of burpees, I'm like, how if you lie down, the cramp might go away. Do a couple of burpees. And he said, wow, it worked. And so we actually finished the race. But so that was not a podium. And then I have not podiumed. Yeah, he's in there, the other room. I did not podium, of course, at the Elite 15 majors or the World Champs, but I consider that a podium for my age group.
Yes. So out of all the races you've raced, what's been your most memorable race?
Yeah, gosh, you know, they're all memorable. So we'll do good memories. I think it would have to be Anaheim, that last chance qualifier was one, just because, you know, it was a dream and the dream came true. Like, how can how can that not be a memorable one?
Yeah.
The other one was Las Vegas. Again, Vegas last winter was when I qualified for Chicago. Mm-hmm. And I ended up 4th, just behind Linda Meyer. You know, I was not in the front for most of that race. After the rower, I kind of felt like that wobbly leg feeling, like oh shit,
yeah,
this might not be good. But then the rest of the race was great. It was like, and I got to wall balls; they were unbroken. I was going fast. Like, I was so just happy with that race, because I was like, this isn't going to happen in the beginning of the race, and then I was like, maybe this could happen, and then I was like, oh, I don't feel so good, and I was like. Then it was like, yeah, I'm feeling good after the lunges. And I was like, I think this can really happen. And then by the wall balls, I'm like, this is really going to happen.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those races where everything went really well. And then Toronto, actually, where I set that world record, the 101. not even that memorable a day, but just the kind of day where you just feel phenomenal.
Yeah.
The whole race.
Yeah, you
and
felt
it feels
really good.
really easy. Like everything just felt easy. And I'd love to have every race feel that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, those three, I would say.
All right. Out of all the places you've raced, what's your favorite venue?
Yeah, I really liked the stadium race in Phoenix.
Yeah.
I did. Just I thought it was nice. I loved Nice, even though it was horribly hot, but I just thought it was so cool to be there. I had a little Airbnb just, in the old town, and I spent a lot of time walking around, and I think just I love traveling. I haven't been traveling like ever since I started having kids. I really haven't traveled, and to be able to see the world and do Hyrox, it's super cool. I even liked Stockholm, to be frank. I had the afternoon. Of course, the race was but early in the morning, so I had the whole afternoon, and it was dark, but it was like I'm going through these snowy, like cobblestone streets. I went to the Christmas market. It was just gorgeous, and I felt like I was in like an old movie.
Yeah.
So not the actual venue, but just the surroundings. Chicago Navy Pier. The only thing that bothers me about that is the walk. Every time you want to get to the venue, you got to, like, I would park my bike, and then you got to walk up the long thing and back down. But I do like Chicago. Yeah, maybe those three.
Chicago's in North America, Chicago's probably my favorite venue. Although DC is a lot of fun too. That area is really nice around DC too.
Yeah, DC, I had a good time this year too. I was in an Airbnb. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
As long as the race isn't crowded. I had a problem in Dallas. I didn't like Dallas. Toronto, even, I was complaining about how the course was crowded. But again, I said I felt great the whole time, which I did. I was just, weaving in and out. Like, this is no problem. But then I went to Dallas 3 weeks later, and I didn't feel as good. And I was weaving in and out, and I hated it.
Yeah.
So, and the elite races are wide open anyway. So you can't really measure that, because it's not apples to apples there.
Which shoes do you race in?
Gosh, I have been dying to race in my Mizuno Wave Rebellions, because I have the 2s and the 3s. I like them both, but I can't row in them. And I said to Rich Ryan, who loves these shoes, I was like, how do you row in these shoes? Because there's no back to them. I don't know if you know the shoe.
No.
But I run my speed workouts in them. I've run road races in them. I love them, and you either love them or hate them. But the back is like cut so that there's nothing for the rowing, the rower to attach to. So
when you're in the clips.
So your heels aren't secure.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite problem as the Vaporfly. The Vaporfly has that big thing in the back, so you can't get in or out of the rower.
Yeah.
This is like my foot won't stay in. My heel won't stay in, and I have very small feet. So if my heel doesn't stay in, what happens? My toe, the front, my toe comes out too. So then I just can't. So I race in the Pumas, the Deviate Nitro Elite. I believe the 2s or the 3s. I bought the new pink ones in Phoenix. Did you buy the pink ones?
No. I race in trail runners.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I only do that because I'm not a big guy. So to get everything in the sled push and the pull so that I don't slip at all, I wear trail runners, and I don't slip one bit. And I don't mind running in them at all. It doesn't bother me at all. I could probably run better.
You don't feel like you're just like smashing the concrete no?
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I could probably run better with, if I wore a more suited running shoe. But then if I wore, like, I've accidentally wore running shoes to, like, sled workouts. And I'm like, no, because I just slip. I slip all over. And every time you slip, it's a waste of energy, right?
No, yeah, I see that. That's why I like the Mizuno's a very good grip. Like they, even in my gym when I wear them, I'm like, oh, this is cool. But the Pumas are good for me. I bought the pink ones in Phoenix that everybody has, that Joanna broke the world record in, but I don't. I have a theory about my pink ones, and I don't know if it's just my pink ones. I don't think they have a real carbon plate. I think they are, and I don't. Because they don't feel like, I have 5 other carbon plated shoes and they don't feel the same.
They don't feel
they feel super, they feel comfortable, they feel stable, but they are heavier. And then, and I don't know if this is a real test. Have you heard the test where you like try to bend the sole in half?
Yeah, I've heard about that before. Yeah.
Because my husband, a couple of years ago, I wanted some new Vaporflies, Nike Vaporflies, and apparently it was my fault because I sent him a random website and not the official website, but I just told him I want this shoe, in this size. And he ordered and they were fake. Totally. No. They were like 3 ounces heavier. And when I bent the shoe in half, the sole just like completely bent in half. So I was like, and they ended up being from some totally irreputable website. So these pink shoes, I was like, they're stable. I like them for lunges. They're great for wall balls, but I don't think they're not bouncy. Like they don't feel, you put a carbon plated shoes on, you feel a little off. It's, and then they feel springy. These just feel comfortable. They don't feel springy. And then I just took them and I bend them in half, and I'm like, they bend in half. Like, how can they have a carbon plate? But I like the shoe. I like to train in them, and I'm not going to cut them open until they're done. I'm going to wait till they're done, and then it'll be like a year, and I'll cut them open, and I'll see if the carbon plate is actually there.
When you cut them open,
but that's my theory.
when you cut them open, we're going to have to do it on a stream in another interview, so we can have Amy cut the shoe open and see if the plate's in there. They
probably sold thousands of these shoes, and I'm like, am I the only person who thinks like maybe it was I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I don't feel like I get that extra like pop from those shoes.
It'll be like the "Where's the beef" commercial back from when we were kids. Where's the beef? Where's the carbon plate? I don't think there's any carbon plate in there.
No, I mean, my Vaporflies I got, they were totally a fake. Totally.
Yeah.
So, but these I bought at the site. I mean, I was, I tried them on. I was like, oh, these are so cute. Like, I like pink. I mean, I've always liked pink. And I was impressed that all these men are wearing pink shoes too. But, I bought it. I was in the mood. And then I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I didn't even wear them for that race. I wore them for my I wore them for like a 30-minute run. And then I wore them on the treadmill for my strides that I do. And I just was like, I don't know. Yeah. So I went back to the other ones. They're still Pumas, but they were the ones. So.
All right. Well, let's switch gears. Let's talk. Actually, let me go back to one more. What advice do you have for somebody that's new to Hyrox, getting into Hyrox? Let's say they're a little bit in shape. They're working out. They got a little bit of cardio background, but they're going to race their first Hyrox.
Yeah, no, in my mind, I think aerobic fitness is the biggest, most important thing. Mm-hmm. Like, I think a lot of people don't do enough running or aerobic cross training, sustained, training that way. And I think that's what allowed me to have success almost immediately, is that I had that base, huge base. I think classes where they do this, and then you get a 45-second rest, and then you do this little exercise, with maybe a little bit of running, it's just not going to prepare you. No. Like, you have to, if you're going to be out there for an hour racing, I'd say you have to be comfortable doing a good hour and a half of a pretty hard workout with very little rest.
Yeah.
If it's going to take you an hour and a half, I don't want to say go do 2 hours, but you have to work up to the fact that you can be putting out a sustained effort with very little rest.
Yeah.
For a long time, and not get used to having those rest breaks, because I think that's what's so shocking to people. if they're used to strength training or, these classes, or doing maybe 12 by 400, but you take a whole lap rest. Like, it's not, I think you just have to do, if you don't want to be in shock, you have to do the hard work. You have to have some really hard training sessions where you're constantly moving.
Yeah.
I think you don't always have to do Hyrox stuff in every workout, especially in the beginning. I think tempo runs, threshold runs, long bikes, even if you mix it up and you want to do some cross training, like go from the Stairmaster to the bike to a run. But like, building the aerobic engine, I think is the most important thing. And also, I think that everybody before their first, especially if it's solo, like I'm not really an expert on doubles because that's a little bit different, but I think there is a place for a good simulation.
Yeah.
I don't do sims anymore. I felt like I should have done, maybe I should do a simulation before Phoenix. And I was like, you know what? I either have it or I don't at this point. Like, I know how to build the fitness, but before my first one, that simulation that I did was very important because I just learned exactly what it was going to feel like, so I do think, 1 or 2 simulations before the first races is very helpful.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think the simulations are good too. Even if you use it as a training tool, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think as a training tool, it's a hard, again, if you do a proper simulation, it is like doing a race.
Yeah.
So I don't think you should do that often because I don't think people should race very often. I think if you want to race well, you can't race often.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of one or the other.
Yeah.
And with sims, in the beginning, I think it is more important. And then, the first year or 2, after that, I don't think they're as useful. But again, you asked for beginners. So I would say, yeah, but if you're going to do it, make sure you set it up the best way you can, and think everything through. And just, yeah, I mean, and then go out there and enjoy it. Don't have, I think a simulation will it sort of makes you realize what your expectations should be. Don't expect, because it will feel, aside from the wall balls, because I think the wall balls in the race, it's harder. It's just harder.
Yeah.
Whether it's nerves. I think for me, a lot of times I just get nervous, especially if I have a couple no reps early on. I start to like really tense up. And of course it's a race. So you've overextended yourself more, and that's fine. And I think if you've gotten to the wall balls reasonably well, you will make it through the wall balls. And if the wall balls are hard, it's only one station. You've done most of the work.
Yeah. Plus, I think once you get to the wall balls too, when you first start racing, you get that adrenaline push, right? So you get that adrenaline push, and then about the time you maybe get through 3/4, 90% of the race, that adrenaline push is starting to wear itself off, and then that's when you get to the wall balls, right? And now you just had that adrenaline rush, and now you're just trying to struggle to get through those last 100 wall balls.
Yeah, no, there's something about that. But yeah, no, I do think less, just more sustained hard efforts.
Yes.
And and of course you need to have your recovery days, but there have to be hard days, long days.
Yeah.
And I think that will get you ready for it.
Yeah, you definitely have to have that cardio as part of your programming.
Yeah, and not just like, okay, I'm going to do just 800 meters and some stations and that's it. Like it has to be, hard.
Yeah.
You have to get used to that feeling of working hard and not getting any rest.
Yes. Yep. Totally agree. All right. So Amy, how do you balance being a mom, a wife, and training and Hyrox? How do you balance it all?
I think we touched on this before. for me, it was smooth sailing. I mean, the kids were getting older.
Yeah.
Like, I had a nice little schedule going. And I still do. I still have time. I'm not going to say that I don't have time. It's just the psychological burden of what I've been dealing with. It's, they always used to say stress is stress, no matter whether it's physical or mental. Mm-hmm. And I never really bought that. I was like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you just compartmentalize and shut down? And now I think I'm understanding it a little more, that it does change things. So for me, it's not. I get a block of time. I get a block of time in the morning until lunchtime, which her lunch is at like 10:20. So I have to go every day and pull her out and feed her lunch. But I do get an hour and a half or so in the mornings. And usually I get some time in the afternoons if I have the energy to do something at home. So I have the time. It's just a matter of the mental energy to always, utilize that time to the fullest potential, which I used to be able to do like a year ago, a little bit better.
Right.
Sometimes now I'll just go for a walk.
Yeah.
And I feel guilty about that. I feel like I should be doing the ski erg, like this afternoon. I should ski this afternoon. And then part of me wants to do that. But then part of me is like, sun's out. Could be nice just to go for a walk and listen to a podcast. So I used to be much more disciplined. But now it's almost like it's just hard,
Yeah. So right now, with the things you have going on, you've had to make some adjustments, right? Let's flip back to like your second year of Hyrox, and you were training hard. What was your week? What would be a week of training for Amy?
Yeah. Again, things have changed. When I first got into it, I was very still much like entrenched in cardio, biking, running. That was just my whole life. That's all I ever did. Mm-hmm. So I would sprinkle in the Hyrox stations, and that was about it. Like, I never strength trained. I didn't know what any of, and I still don't know. Like, someone's like, "Oh, you should do Romanian deadlifts," and I'm like, "Okay, I have to look that up."
Yeah, how do I do this?
So I'm watching, and I'm like, "Okay, that looks good." Bulgarian. I was like, "Why is everything Eastern European?" Like, I didn't know what Bulgarian split squat was. So there was none of that. It was all just, I would do the stations. I figured, okay, I'm just going to ride my bike and do the stations. And that worked. It did work. Oh, yeah. And then I started doing, and then I'd throw in some goblet squats. And then Lauren Weeks is like, we were having breakfast and she's like, you should do thrusters. I'm like, okay, what's a thruster? So I started doing thrusters, and then I started doing more like circuity stuff. Yeah. Like, I do my, a 30-minute circuit or an EMOM and whatever people call them. But basically, you're basically doing the stations in an order over and over again for a certain amount of time. And that, that was that. But but my running wise, it was always very structured. By then my injury was kind of at bay. So I was managing. I could do my tempo runs. I could do my threshold runs. I could do my speed workout. I do hill workouts. I do most of my zone 2 on a bike. I do Stairmaster workouts. So I kind of, and I still do this. I kind of alternate. I'll do like a threshold day will be a hard day. Then 2 days later, I'll do hills. 2 days later, I'll do a long run. So I don't really have a weekly, I don't say every Tuesdays. I kind of go from thing to thing. And I'm looking at the clock because honestly, we have about 10 minutes. Yeah. So I want to just make sure that, because she'll come home. But
So you more follow a pattern.
at my age, I'm just saying I don't follow a pattern. I don't do like threshold every Tuesday or a long run every Sunday. It's more like a flow.
A flow, yeah.
and at my age, another thing I found along the age is just a number. It is not just a number. Something always hurts. Okay. Like I do something hard and something always hurts.
Yeah.
So the next hard workout, I have to avoid aggravating what's hurt.
Right.
So I don't write out a schedule. I just do something hard that doesn't hurt what's already hurt, hoping that the next few workouts I can come back, and do another speed workout. Maybe it's 10 days later in the rotation. So by that time, my Achilles isn't hurting anymore. And then after that speed workout, my Achilles will hurt. So then I move on to like a Stairmaster workout, or I love doing hill workouts because they are gentler on everything. Like right now, my right knee's been bothering me. Now it's feeling a little better, but my left hip is bothering me because I think on my wall balls, because I couldn't squat down, I was favoring the other side. Yeah. So it's always a give and take. But I feel like I have a lot of tools in the toolbox. I've learned a lot. Like when I was injured, I would just do Stairmaster workouts, so I do intervals on the Stairmaster. My hill workouts, I do my thresholds a lot of times. I'll do thresholds on an incline and save my speed days for just short intervals, like 15 by 1 minute on 1 minute rest.
Yes.
Faster than 10, like 10K, 5K pace or faster. So all of that is faster than Hyrox. I believe as you age, you need to run fast.
Yeah.
You just do.
Yes.
Faster than any pace. Even if you're not going to use that pace, I think you got to keep trying to run fast. Otherwise, what used to be what used to feel fast what used to feel slow is going to feel fast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
It's like a 6-minute mile now for me, unfortunately, feels fast.
Yeah.
Like it feels really fast. And it didn't used to, I used to be able to run a 5-minute mile and that would feel fast, now but the more I try to keep that speed in, the easier it gets. So yeah, I have kind of a rotation, and in my mind, I think, I haven't done that in a while. I need to do that. Like, what do I need to do next? Same with the ergs. Like I row, and then I try to ski, and then I try to row, and it ends up being I get a couple ski. If I get 1 to 2 of each, like for 20 minutes a week, that's a good week.
Yeah.
I'll do. Yeah, I don't feel like I need to do more than 25 minutes as a workout on any erg, because you're only on the erg for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why would I spend 45 minutes doing a ski erg workout if it's a 4-minute station? Like, you have to kind of think, like, what's the bigger picture here?
Yes.
So yeah, I don't have a plan. I do about an hour and a half most mornings. Weekends are trickier, but like Monday through Friday, I have a pretty solid hour and a half to 2 hours every morning. And then most afternoons, I get about an hour if I want it.
Yes.
If I have the energy to use it. Again, the afternoons are what kind of, I don't always have the energy for it in the afternoon.
Right.
And I think it's okay. I can give myself some grace,
No, you're doing what you can with what you got. The hand that you're giving right now, right? Making the best of it.
Trying to.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is the most absurd thing you've done in the name of a Hyrox workout?
Okay, this harkens back to when my daughter was in the hospital, and I don't want to make it a sad story, but at that point, this was in Connecticut, I still had Hyrox Hamburg on my radar. Like, I was still thinking maybe I'll get to go. So I was like, I got to do something. I got to get the wall ball in here. I got to do something.
Yeah.
So I smuggled my weights in, because I don't think you're allowed. I don't know what goes through security, but they don't have metal detectors, but I don't think they'd want me bringing like a kettlebell in.
Yeah, your Hyrox weights in.
Yeah, so I smuggled some dumbbells and the kettlebell and my the wall ball, and then I had them in her hospital room, and I would try to do some stuff, but I got caught.
You got caught.
I got caught, and I'm like, I'm not really doing anything wrong. No, this whole eating disorder thing, it's not only can she not do anything, I can't do it. I was like, it's just, I'm just trying to maintain something.
Yeah.
No, they're like, they read me the riot act. It was like a lecture. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I got caught once, but I didn't listen.
Yeah,
so I kept them. and then I hid them. And then I got caught again. She's like, I saw the weights hiding. And I was like, okay. So then I moved them into the bathroom. Now the hospital bathroom is, she's got she has to pee into a hat because they keep track of how much. So I got the hat there full of pee, and I've got my kettlebells and my wobble. So I used to, and then I'd hide in the bathroom, in the hospital bathroom, and do kettlebell swings and wall balls. Now you couldn't really throw that high, but yeah, that was, and then, I just felt like this is odd. This is not normal.
Right.
But I did it. I don't know. And then I did that the first time. And then by the second admission, I was like, I give up. I can't do this again. But it just was, I found it so awful that they associate any sort of exercise with weight loss, and the whole thing just pissed me off.
Yeah.
And then I felt just pathetic that I'm hiding in this bathroom doing this, and it was gross and it was wet, and it was just one of those things where just I'm like, is this for real? Is this really my life?
Yeah.
But it was what it was,
Right. Yeah, you're just trying to get a little escape and make the best of the time. And they were like,
she shouldn't be seeing you do that. It's not a good example. It's not, and I'm like, okay, I don't agree with this,
Right.
And it was, and I just felt weird. I just felt like I'm hiding in a hospital bathroom. I've got because people were watching. They have a watcher that sits out the door with these situations to make sure the kid doesn't do anything. Like she wasn't allowed to go to the bathroom. I could go to the bathroom, but And then if somebody would come in, I would have her, I'd be like, well, mommy's not feeling so good. That's why she's been in the bathroom for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah, so that was other than that. No, I always felt like I should, do an airport workout if I was stuck on a layover, but at that point it's like I don't want to get sweaty.
Yeah. Yeah, right. All right, so I know you've only got a couple of minutes left here.
Yeah.
Let's get to one or two more questions. If you could eliminate one Hyrox station, which one would you eliminate?
Sled pull, absolutely 100%. I hate it.
Oh, you hate sled pull.
I can't move the thing. I don't know why. I feel like I'm moving it. I look and I feel like I'm doing all the right things. I've watched all of everybody's YouTubes on it, and it just doesn't move for me. Yeah.
So go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if you could replace it with something, what would you put in its place?
I was thinking about this. I think we need a balance obstacle.
Oh, so going back to your gymnastics days.
Yes. How about a tiptoe balance beam walk? You can't put your heel down.
Yeah.
You have to make it across a balance beam. It would level the field for the men and women. Have you ever watched Survivor?
Yeah.
And seen how poorly the men do on those little balance beams? Yeah, and when you're tired and your calves might be cramping. Yeah. Or even not a tiptoe, but maybe just some sort of balance thing would be cool, I think. Or a crossword puzzle.
Yeah. So a couple of things there. Did you watch Survivor 50? Or are you watching it?
I'm not watching it currently. I think I haven't watched it for a couple seasons.
Oh, Survivor 50 is pretty good. It's all past survivors come back together. So a lot of the big names are back. It's really fun. My wife and I have been watching it. Yeah. And my wife just sent me, there's a new, I don't know what I forget the name of what it's called, but it's It is exactly what you just described. So it's fitness, and then it brings in like some of the balance components, and then there's even like a mental component, and it's a challenge race thing. Have you heard of this?
Okay. No, I haven't.
Yeah, no, what you described is the actual real race. There's one in like, my wife sent me the little thing from Instagram about it. And it's called like the life or the hell. I'll send it to you when we're done. But anyway, it's a real thing, and it combines mental and balance and strength and cardio into a race kind of challenge thing.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm kind of kidding about the crossword puzzle, but because I always like crossword puzzles, and I love Scrabble. Like I play crossplay now on my phone, and that's like super fun. My daughter plays with me, and but you can't really do that. I don't think that, but maybe the balance thing would be kind of fun. Yes, for sure.
Yes. All right, you got to go, Amy.
Yeah. I got some mothering duties to do. She just walked in, so
well, take good care of your daughter, and I know you will. And then, but thanks for coming on today, Amy. I totally appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of ladies that I see at the gym and stuff are waiting for me to do this interview, so they'll be happy to hear from you. Yeah.
Well, you take care too, and good. Are you going to Worlds this year?
I am. Good. Yep. So I'll be there in Stockholm. Well, my wife and I are both qualified.
I will be there in spirit, or we'll be watching everything we can watch. So,
you know what it's expensive this year with the airfares going up because of the fuel.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. So don't it's an expensive one to go to this year.
Yeah, no, maybe it'll be closer to home next year, but maybe not. They could try to put it like way over.
Yeah, Asia.
So yeah. So we'll see.
Okay, Amy, I'll let you go.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good talking to you, Amy.
Bye, Paul.